For the absolute ultimate beginner, or even those of you who are struggling with Facebook ads, what are 7 things that you need to be aware of? No problems you're running into. Let's talk about it. What's going on, everyone? Hayden here, coming back at you with a brand new video, and in this one, we're gonna be talking about Facebook ads, okay? I know a lot of you guys have been asking questions and trying to get some more insight on that, and you wanna see more videos, so here you go. In this specific video, I wanna go through 7 different mistakes. Seven things. You might not be making these mistakes, you might not be making all of them, but there's a lot of things that you need to be aware of and you need to know if you wanna make your Facebook ads successful. So, inside this video, we're gonna do that. I got 7 things. A couple of them are more like personal opinion type things, so don't take anything I say, too intensely or whatever. You can go test it for yourself. But with that being said, these are definitely very important, and I completely hold them true to every single ad I run, and they're very important to me. So, let's jump inside my computer and start going through. All right, so now that we're inside of here, I got everything outlined and written down. We're gonna be going through it, and it's not exactly in any particular order, so I'm just gonna kind of go through. I have one of my ads managers pulled up in an old ad account, so we should be good to go. There's just a couple things, again, not in any specific order. I wanna start with something that I actually used to miss, and to be honest, I don't anymore, but literally until like a month ago, I sometimes would always forget this. It's just the littlest things that do make a big difference. So when you're coming through creating your ad, this isn't the ads manager, you guys. I know a lot of you might use the power editor. I learned the entire Facebook ad system with the ads manager, so that's just what I'm most comfortable with when it comes to creating the front end ad sets themselves. So right here, once you scroll down a little bit, location. Everybody is always in this box, everybody in this location. Now let's think about that for a second. I don't want to target everyone who's in the US. I want to target everyone who lives in the US. There might be 800,000 Japanese businessmen here on a trip. I don't need to target them. I don't want to target them. So people who live in this location, that's definitely a little thing that a lot of people miss, okay? So check that off here. That one's good. Now, age brackets. This is something I didn't learn until about, I would say, 4 to 5 months ago. I had heard of it, but nobody actually explained it to me and how it worked. So I'm gonna kind of explain just in a simple way how to break it down. When you're going through and selecting your age, if you guys watch my content, you know I say go broad in the initial ad sets just to kind of see what works and use the breakdown tab, which we actually will be talking about later in this video. But if you're trying to segment by age, right? I usually like to start by 22. That's just kind of what Facebook likes. But the thing with that, again, this is more of a personal thing, but you can't deny, if you guys know Facebook ads and the algorithm ends in a 4. So every bracket that you're moving up is 10 years. So if you're trying to go from 18 to 35, you should go from 18 to 34. Because if you're going to 35, you're being counted as targeting into the next bracket up. So 34, let me actually give this 34, so it'd be 24 to 34. That's a bracket. Then 34 to 50, or 34 to 44. 54, X, whatever. So it goes like that, 10, and it ends in 4. So at the end of every 4, after you move up 10, it's another bracket. So just keep that in mind when you're targeting. I know if you want to set it to like 35 or something, just drop it down to 34. You probably will see a difference. For me, I know it didn't ever make a crazy difference, but I didn't really notice too much of a difference. But from what I understand, that's a bracket. And so you do want to at least have that in mind when going through and creating out your campaigns. So this is something I've always, advised against this. Basically, if you don't know what it is, this expand interest box right here, it's the little box of hell. Honestly, it's the devil in my opinion. But that's not to say, okay, so this box, what it does is it's gonna basically add interest without adding the interest based on Facebook's own recommendations. So if you're trying to target a lot of different things, then maybe this can help you. But 99.99% of the time, I always uncheck this. I don't ever need to actually check it because I can just make my own interests, which we will talk about here in a second, but uncheck that because let me just give you an example. Cat, okay? People who include cat lovers, all right, 15 million. Watch this, so you see it when it's checked here. How many people is it reaching? 54 million. Now watch what happens when you uncheck it. 290,000. 54 million to you can't even tell me that is a comparison, okay? So that's really gonna drop your potential reach. In my opinion, again, I'm not gonna get crazy practical when it comes to the numbers. I like to stick around 500,000, and let's just jump right into the next point about talking about stacking interests. So when you're actually going through and stacking your interests, what do I mean by this? For me, I like to have, I'm actually gonna write this down for you real fast. 3 to 7 interests is kind of my bread and butter. I think 7 is a cutoff bracket for more, so at that point you might as well have 10 to 12. But let's go with cat whatever, cat products. You want something a little bit small. Cat lady, okay? I love my cat. So I'm gonna go through, I would go and I would stack a couple of interests with maybe anywhere from a couple 100,000 to a couple million. You know, I don't wanna get too big, just love cat. Let's see what else it got. Love cats, perfect. Suggestions, I love my cats. So some stuff like that, for example, okay? Now you bring it up to 640,000, that's good. But here's the thing, you don't wanna stack too many. And if you watch the content again on this channel, we've made videos on Facebook ads. At least the way I do it is I'm running a couple different ad sets for every campaign. And think about a campaign as a product. So every campaign is for one product. And you wanna test the same post, but running it against different interests. So what you're gonna do is once you make your initial ad, you're gonna go and you're gonna duplicate it, but the only thing you're gonna change is the interests. So you're gonna kind of see which audience, you know, which interest reacts to your post the best. So that's gonna give you a sense of what you should be targeting and how to build off of that. But actually going through and selecting these, again, I like to keep it around 500,000, but stack like 3 to 7 interests. I think that's what works best. And on top of that, okay, point number 5, a narrow. This is huge for what I do, and I do this, again, 99.9% of the time. You can type it in if you want, but if you hit browse, go to behaviors, go down to purchase behaviors, it's gonna be right here under engaged shoppers. So what this basically means, it's gonna drop your reach, okay, just cut it in half. Not too bad. Again, we only have, I believe, 5 interests up here, so you could go through and add more. Cats lovers, perfect. Watch, gonna boost it up like 400,000. All right, 350. So that's a good, you know, range, a good reach. But I always like to have it narrowed for engaged shoppers, and it's one simple reason. I don't just want people who are interested in all of this. I want people who are interested in all of this, you know, whatever your this is, whatever product audience you're promoting to, but who also have a history of purchasing that stuff. So that to me has been a really big help. I don't like to stack narrows, and I don't like to do more than one. I know people, you can do exclude if you want, you know, excluding your lookalike or retargeting or whatever you want to do, but I don't like to narrow more. Okay, I don't see a need to, I don't think I ever have, and actually no, I did one campaign where it was 3 different narrows on here, but what that did, that basically just confused Facebook. There was too many things, the reach went up. So I like to stick, you know, 3 to 7 interests. Sometimes I'll do more, but very, very rarely. And then I narrow it for engaged shoppers. So that's what I do. I make sure this box is unchecked and I go from there. Now, the next thing, the budget. The magic question. How much money should you be spending? I don't know. I really don't. It depends on your budget. How much money is in your bank account that you want to test with? So the way I do it, even though, yes, you know, I have money I could be using to test, but that doesn't mean I'm just throwing money at the wall and seeing if it sticks, because the way I learned and the way I see it personally, again, my opinion, based on results, the way I see it being most effective is if you go down, and we can talk about this actually, I'll give you a little bonus here in a second. Go down, I always start these at $5 a day, because you have to think about it. You're not just necessarily going to be spending $5 per day. You're spending $5 a day on one ad set, okay? Well, you're gonna launch 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ad sets inside of one campaign. What happens if you're launching multiple campaigns because you wanna test multiple products? That adds up. So $5 a day, within 2 to 3 days, I'll really look at it, and you know, if I'm running, let's say 4 different ad sets, usually 1 to 2 of those are gonna be drastically underperforming the others. And so in that situation, I'm gonna kill those 2, cut them off, and break down the other 2 that are technically working. So again, my initial goal, I'm not gonna cover it in this video, you can watch it in other videos we've made, is to go broad and break down what was working. So for budget, I keep it at $5 a day. I can make a video talking about scaling and how to raise that. I very rarely do anything other than 5. Sometimes I do 10. Other than that, I don't even wanna mess with anything. Now, we'll jump back actually real fast to this. Again, you guys, I go for something broad. I do edit placements. I do just Facebook and Instagram. I do get rid of instant articles. I keep it just on feed. You can do stories if you want. I really see better results on Instagram and Facebook for the feed. I actually am gonna be making a video soon on specifically Instagram advertising. I just feel like it's something a lot of people haven't touched on. So we are gonna go through that. Just know that as you're selecting where you wanna put the placements, that is gonna affect your reach. So kind of look back at that. You might have to go and alter your interests based on that. But it's just something to keep in mind. So I look at that, we do that, and then the next thing I wanna do, once I hit continue, oh, we didn't do the conversion here. Let me do that real fast. Okay, so we'll just do view content, which I never actually do. That's a whole separate video. One thing I just want to show you here is I use an existing post, okay? So select your page here. You'll go, and I don't like to actually just put it in. So if you do create a new ad, I literally never, you guys, create my actual ad inside of here. And it's very simple as to why I do this. It's because when you're putting, let's just say a single image, for example, look at that. What do you see here? the sizing is all off. It's just very horizontal, super, you know, not very tall. So it's really stretched out very wide, and it's gonna cut off your photo. So I always do it actually over in the page posts. It's right here, but it's over, if you go right under here, create and manage page posts, you can actually go and create it inside of there, and that's gonna keep it at the right size. So it's kind of the same for a video, except it's not just gonna cut off the video. It's gonna tell you if you're trying to do a video that the video is not the right size. So go over to the page post, create it in there, and then just hit use existing post and enter post ID, okay? It's as simple as that. It's gonna pop up right here, and then from there you'll be good to go. You can go and actually hit confirm, run your ad, make duplicates, whatever else you wanna do. But that right there is 7 things that I think, or I know a lot of people mess up on. I keep getting questions about it, so I hope that cleared some of that stuff up for you. With that being said, let me know if you wanna see an Instagram advertising video. I think that would be really interesting. I have gotten good results on it. It's kind of funny how that came in. I'll explain the entire story in the video where we talk about that. But I actually did it on accident. I was going through selecting the placements, and it's kind of funny. I actually was only gonna be doing Facebook because that's what I was doing at the time, and I think I accidentally left Instagram checked, and it started making sales. I'm like, good shit, Hayden, you're making sales, whatever. I go back, break it down, and look at why or where the sales are coming from, because obviously I wanna build off of that, and it turns out they were all from Instagram. So from now on, I literally just go broad in the beginning. I test both Instagram, Facebook, wide age, wide everything, just to see what's working. So I'm throwing a little bit of money at the fan to kind of see what works, and then building off of that very quickly. So I don't need to spend a lot of money to test. I know, again, we talked about budget. It just depends on how much money you have. You don't need a lot of money. Sure, Facebook ads has a decent learning curve, but once you figure it out, it becomes fairly simple. So you guys, I hope that video helped you out. If it did, I appreciate it. Drop a like down below, show some love. And if you haven't already, I'd appreciate it if you join the fam by hitting that nice link and subscribe button. And I post every single day on this channel, so I'll be seeing you tomorrow on the next one. Peace.